Hi everyone. As a young architect, it's a big challenge in our career to decide what we want to do and to find our own way. It's challenging because at the beginning of the road, most of us are unaware of our passions or inner hunger and what feeds this hunger. We can work in architectural offices, in construction sites, start our own business, do master's degree, academic career, or do something different related or not related to architecture. It depends on the person and his situation, but we don't know where to focus without making a decision about what we want. In my story, 2 months before I graduate, my boss at the place where I was intern before called and offered me to work with her. At that time, I was dealing with my graduation project and thinking that we all lose touch with reality in school. And we didn't know what happens in the real world with real actors. That's why I wanted to go into business immediately after graduation and thought that a small firm is a good choice to learn more. So, with my gut instinct, without thinking too much, I accepted her offer. Maybe it was easy for me to accept a ready-made job offer. I don't know. And right after graduation, also by changing the city I live in, I started working there. And at times I questioned my decisions, wasn't sure whether they were right or wrong. Was I heading in the right direction? Then, after a certain time has passed, maybe I don't have too much life experience, but now I see that there is no right or wrong directions. There are just experiences, and we have to look at the whole thing as a journey where we don't know what the next step will be. So, whatever path we take, it's very hard at the beginning to deal with other people, to manage relationships with clients, to convince the client and provide a trust that you can do the work as a young architect. In my first job, I was at a small firm, just the head architect, a technician friend, and me. In my second week at work, my boss went on vacation and then she called me from there and said that in a few hours a client would come to look at a project they were working on before and wanting to make a few change to the project, and she wanted me to work with him. So I waited for him, but he didn't come that day and the following days until my boss was back from vacation. My colleague said that she has experienced the same situation too in her first months, but over time people would get used to it. Maybe he didn't take me seriously that time, but after a certain time, the situation has changed and we work together on many projects. Another thing with clients is the common language. In school, we present our projects to our peers and tutors, so the people who know the field. But in work, we present our works to clients who are maybe not very familiar with the architectural language. And sometimes it becomes our job to educate them in some matters. This might be talking about some technical details and explaining why what he wants cannot or how it can be done. Might be including the client into the design process. Not too much, but informing the client at every stage and speak openly when there is a problem. So that collaborative approach maybe help client to understand challenges faced by architect in the project. But there must always be a balance. Sometimes it's necessary to draw the line and not to involve the client in our business. For that, maybe we have to develop our convincing skills more. But usually it can be challenging for young architects to establish a balance in relationship with clients and to manage their expectations. Another thing is dealing with people from other disciplines. Architecture is not a one-person thing. It's collaborative. The work we do is actually a teamwork, which includes civil, electrical, mechanical engineers, landscape architects, maybe interior architects. But at the university, we usually don't have the opportunity to work together with other professions. So in work life, it's not easy to understand each other's approach to the project. And there can be some communication-oriented problems or some superiority problems. For example, when the civil engineer called me and asked me to make some change he deems necessary in some part of projects, my boss will say let them obey us, and I will be stuck in between them. Because both sides are looking at it from different directions and trying to apply what they know. And as a young architect, maybe because of lack of knowledge and experience and maybe lack of convincing and business skills, it can be more difficult to manage all these people. So we all know that the university is not preparing students for the outside world. In school, we design our projects without limits, without any sort of budget. Most of the time, we create the project program ourselves without clients and their preferences. So if there are no real problems, there are no real projects. So the projects we design usually fly in the air, don't hit on the ground. In school, all of us design skyscrapers, culture centers, museums, and community centers, and so on. But in real world, we have to design what the market wants, and this is usually residential projects, apartments, and we have to design that can be realistically built. Also, we have to deal with regulations, building code standards, so maybe that requires more time than just design. Design is just one part of the work. Of course, we shouldn't expect to learn everything from school, but I think there will be a balance between education system and the real world, and these are the things that gets totally coverage in the university. Another thing which we don't really learn in school is how firms work, how offices work and operate. Whether we are a sole practitioner or we work in a firm, it's a bit challenging to maintain an effective flow of work and to manage time well while handling all types of people. Our profession takes a lot of time. Sometimes we drown in details, sometimes we deal with plan approval councils or bosses or managers. Sometimes we deal with clients who are in a constant rush to finish project. So we have to plan schedules, manage deadlines, and maybe we should develop methods that will enable us to carry out these processes more efficiently and profitably. So I talked about some challenges, but I want to say that actually these are not challenges, these are chances to growth. I recently read this book, Mindset of Carol Dweck. She tells that there are two types of mindsets, fixed and growth, and we all have both of them. Sometimes we are in fixed mindset, sometimes we are in the other. When we are in fixed mindset, it's important for us to be intelligent or talented to achieve something. Also, we don't believe that abilities can be developed, and we don't love challenge. But in growth mindset, we believe that we can develop our abilities with hard working, enjoying effort, trying new strategies, and keeping on learning. And we love challenge because for growth mindsets, Setbacks are the wake-up calls, and they should be used as a platform for learning. And in this book, it's explained that how we can apply growth mindset in business, school, parenting, and relationships. This was something I hadn't thought about much until recently. So while I reading this book, I realized that in some cases, actually in many cases, I have fixed mindset too. But we can change the way we think and fulfill our potential. So I want to know your challenge. What are you struggling with right now? Maybe you have any suggestions or any tips? Because we are all different, our stories are different, our choices and what we learned as a result are different. So I want to know your experiences and thoughts. Please feel free to share. See you again next time.